Welcome to Stony Brook University, SVU for short. This is the first in a series of 7 podcasts designed as an orientation for graduate students like you. My name is Lena, and I will act as your host during these important presentations. Originally from Pennsylvania, I moved to Long Island in 2009 as an undergraduate transfer student. Currently, I'm in the Anthropology Department's graduate program as a master's student, and I'm looking forward to serving as your host during these important and informative podcasts. In this podcast, I will briefly introduce you to Stony Brook University, Long Island, and the surrounding areas. At the end of the podcast, we will hear from the Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Charles Tabor. I have designed each of the subsequent 6 orientation podcasts to give you the information you need to begin a successful career here at Stony Brook. Parts 2 and 3 will cover all of the important administrative policies and procedures, including registration, tuition, and financial aid. Part 4 will cover the various health insurance options on campus. Part 5 will cover the university's sexual harassment and sex discrimination policies. Part 6 will introduce you to Stony Brook's library and technology facilities. And finally, Part 7 will cover several important elements of graduate student life on campus, including the graduate student organization and both employment unions for graduate students who work as graduate teaching or research assistants on campus. With that, let's begin your introduction to the campus. Stony Brook University is a really exciting place to be right now. Stony Brook is a young university. The university was founded in 1957, and the first PhD was awarded in 1966. Since then, Stony Brook has grown quickly to become one of the top public universities in the world. This productivity and the university's reputation are largely a product of the quality of Stony Brook's faculty and graduate students. Stony Brook has an award-winning faculty who are among the most productive faculty at public universities, as well as technical facilities that are rivaled by no other universities in the region. Recently, the university climbed to 82nd in the prestigious U.S. News & World Report survey of the best national universities in America. It also climbed to 34th in the category of top public national universities. Stony Brook University is on an upward trajectory, not only in its rankings, but also in its growth. In the last 5 years, Stony Brook has launched tremendous growth in its master's education programs. This gives Stony Brook the opportunity to greatly expand graduate education, as well as the opportunity to meet the needs of both the nation and the world for a master's educated workforce. Stony Brook has a number of new physical buildings on campus and intellectual centers that you may be involved in during the course of your research. New buildings and facilities on campus include the Charles B. Wang Center, which is a center for Asian culture and Asian American studies, the Simon Center for Geometry and Physics, where cutting-edge research on the interface between geometry and physics is being conducted, the Laufer Center for Physical and Quantitative Biology, which unites research in physics, mathematics, and computational science to advance both biology and medicine. The Center for Excellence in Wireless and Information Technology, commonly called CWIT, which allows Stony Brook faculty and graduate students to conduct cutting-edge research in information and wireless technology, and a brand new computer science building set to open this year that will house the computer science department, as well as an array of highly specialized labs, including digital media, light dome, sound booth, virtual reality, and wireless sensor labs. Stony Brook University includes 2 satellite campuses in Manhattan and Southampton. At Stony Brook Manhattan, university members have the opportunity to take a variety of courses and to engage directly with New York City. At Stony Brook Southampton, there is a thriving graduate arts program, including a renowned creative writing program. Closer to home, Stony Brook is fortunate to have a strong partnership with other research institutions on Long Island, such as Brookhaven National Laboratories and Cold Spring Harbor Laboratories. Both of these major research institutions are within a half-hour to 45-minute drive of campus, and many of the faculty and students have close ties with research labs and projects at one or both institutions. Stony Brook University is the most recognized member of the State University of New York system, often called SUNY. In this system, there are over 60 campuses in New York State alone. In 2012, the SUNY system expanded to include a new campus overseas in Korea. Excitingly, it is the first American university to open its doors on Korean soil. Furthermore, SUNY Korea offers graduate degree programs from Stony Brook University. These programs are identical to those of SBU and are taught by SBU faculty. A semester or more in SUNY Korea may be a wonderful opportunity for you. More can be learned at the school's website, www.sunykorea.ac.kr. Doctoral students have the additional opportunity to take part in the Inter-University Doctoral Consortium. The consortium allows Stony Brook University doctoral students to take classes from other New York area universities, including Columbia, NYU, and City University of New York, often called CUNY. The consortium allows for an intellectual community to develop and doesn't cost you anything beyond Stony Brook tuition. More information on the consortium can be found under the New and Current Students tab on the Graduate School website. Now let's leave the university behind for a bit and explore Long Island. Long Island is very close to New York City, with the westernmost portion of the island housing two of the city's well-known boroughs, Brooklyn and Queens. The campus is situated right in the middle of the island on the North Shore, in the very historic Three Village area. Around the campus are a variety of small towns with beautiful 18th and 19th century American architecture. Farther south and east you have the Hamptons, which are world-renowned vacation resort areas with fantastic beaches and unique shops, although these might be a bit out of the price range of a graduate student. The North and South Forks are home to Long Island's world-famous vineyards. Many of the vineyards have tasting rooms and tours that allow you to sample the delicious wine at reasonable prices. The North Fork has an amazing array of organic farms that offer some of the best vegetables, fruits, and homemade pies I have ever tasted. Beachgoers have a multitude of options, including rocky North Shore beaches just a short distance from campus, and the sandy South Shore beaches, many of which are top-ranked surfing areas. At the easternmost edge of the island is Montauk Point State Park, which boasts a beautiful rocky coastline, great for photographers and nature lovers alike. Now I would like to bring you back to Stony Brook University for an interview with Dr. Charles Tabor, Dean of the Graduate School. He has some advice for you on how to maximize your experience while here as a graduate student at Stony Brook University.
Hi, I'm Chuck Tabor. I'm the Dean of the Graduate School at Stony Brook University. I've been a faculty member here for 25 years. What I'd like to talk to you about is the importance of relationships and balance in graduate school. So while you're in graduate school, you're going to create many important relationships, many of which will stay with you through your life. You're going to create relationships with mentors and teachers. You're going to find colleagues. You're going to meet friends. Some of you will even meet a partner for life while you're in graduate school. These relationships are important for several reasons. They provide social networks for you while you're here at Stony Brook. They provide professional contacts and professional networks that can stay with you for many years. Many of the friends and colleagues that I had in graduate school are still important resources for me years later. They're people that I talk to when I have important decisions to make. I can get good advice from friends from graduate school. These are relationships that last for your life. So it's also important to maintain balance in your life while you're in graduate school. It is so easy to become consumed with your studies, with your work in the laboratory, with your research, with your scholarship. These are things that can consume your life, and they're things that are very important, so you need to spend a lot of quality time on those parts of your life. But to be successful in graduate school, you really have to find balance and maintain a social life, develop friends, get out. I've seen many graduate students who came in and just spent all their time working on their scholarly activities and their research and studying, and you really burn out if you do that. You have to stay balanced and keep social activities part of your life. So Stony Brook University is a very large place, and it can be intimidating. But it's important to recognize that any institution like Stony Brook has many small communities that you're actually interacting in. And these are going to be the source of a lot of the balance that you can have in your life. For example, you'll learn about your graduate program here. And most of our graduate programs are really quite small, 20 or so students, just a few faculty. And this is going to be an important social network as well as a community for you in your time here. You should also develop other communities with students and faculty from other departments, people that share interests with you. There are many wonderful opportunities and many small communities within our large institution. So in conclusion, I'm very happy to welcome you to Stony Brook University. There are many wonderful things going on at Stony Brook University. Get involved in as many of these things as you can. We're grateful to have you as a member of Stony Brook University. Graduate students are the engines of a research university like Stony Brook, and I'm really happy to have you here. I'm sure that you'll be successful at Stony Brook. Thank you.
As I wrap up your introduction to Stony Brook, there are a few key contacts and online resources I want to introduce you to before we get into the nitty-gritty of administrative policies and procedures. The first two are your Graduate Program Coordinator, the GPC, and your Graduate Program Director, the GPD. You will get to know your GPC very well, as they will be your first go-to person when you encounter a problem. The GPCs on campus are very friendly and helpful staff members, and would love for you to come and say hi even when you don't have a problem. But when a problem does arise, they are your first line of defense here at Stony Brook. Your Graduate Program Director, on the other hand, is a faculty member who runs the academic side of the graduate program you are in. So if you have academic questions, for example about the requirements of your program, or questions about your future options after graduate school, your GPD, your advisor, and the senior graduate students in your program are the people to talk to. In Podcast 2, you will be introduced to the graduate school. Podcast 7 will introduce you to the Graduate Student Organization, the Graduate Student Advocate, and the student employee unions on campus. Every year, the Graduate Student Organization produces a Graduate Student Survival Guide to help new students get situated. Information on downloading a copy of the guide can be found here. This podcast and the others in the orientation series will be archived and accessible from the graduate school website should you need to refer back to them. Finally, the official graduate bulletin is available online on the graduate school website and contains all of the official policies and procedures for each program. Thank you for watching Podcast 1, and once again, welcome to Stony Brook. In Podcast 2, I will get into some administrative details that will be important for your start here.